But our lead this hour comes from golf. Yes, you heard me right. The rare and appropriate golf monologue, the insane to the membrane Saudi oil money continues to be flying around the golf world. It's one of the more compelling stories that I've ever seen here, that out of nowhere, within just months, a startup golf league has taken away almost all of the big-name golfers. All of the golfers that have name brand value have scurried away, and there's a few stragglers that haven't, but the rank and file of big names are now playing for the Saudi government. It's a fascinating dynamic. Well, one that is not, at least at this point, is Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger Woods not part of this. He's in the middle, though, of the latest scuttlebutt, and you know, if you combine big money, no whammy, big money, and Tiger Woods, you combine those two things, and that is the foundation of not a wobbler, a solid, firm MALLER monologue. So if you haven't heard the latest, maybe not, we learned that the LIV Golf Tour offered officially, on the record, between $700 and $800 million to Tiger Woods. They were trying to lure him from the PGA Tour, the 15-time major winner, to leave the PGA to go to the LIV Golf Tour. That is from the horse's mouth. I'm not making it up. It's not my opinion. It is a fact. The LIV Golf CEO, friend of the Saudis, Greg Norman, making that statement on Tucker Carlson tonight. He said, quote, "The number has been out there." Yes, Norman said, confirming it, that Tiger, this is a quote, "Tiger is a needle mover. So, of course, you got to look at the best of the best. They originally approached Tiger before I became CEO," Norman said. So, yes, that number is somewhere in that neighborhood. Close quote. That neighborhood, $700 to $800 million. So let us discuss the question, why? Why did Tiger Woods turn down $800 million? That is the obvious question here. I've got playing cards, housefly, and loose lips. Loose lips. And we will connect all of these things together, and we are going to make a milkshake down by the schoolyard. That's what we're going to make. All right, so first of all, Tiger Woods coulda, shoulda, and woulda doubled his net worth if he had made this move. Now, Tiger's got a lot of money, right? As a washed-up golfer on the back nine of his career. We can all agree that's the case with Tiger right now. But at this point, so far, he has rejected the dough. So, again, the question is why? Based on what I'm hearing, there's two things in play here. He was the first person that these people approached from the LIV Golf Tour, as I understand it. And it's a legacy, but he didn't want to be the first. He didn't want to be the guy that crossed over. But the word on the street has Tiger also betting, I talk about legacy, he's betting that this Saudi Golf League is a fly-by-night operation, that sooner than later, the oil barons, if you will get bored, and they'll put their money elsewhere. Maybe they'll start a football league to compete against the NFL, or the antitrust exemption will go away and they'll start a professional baseball league, or who knows, they'll take down the NBA. But they'll get tired of the golf. And when that happens, all of these players that defected to the LIV Golf Tour will then have to scramble and give mea culpas to the PGA Tour and other golf leagues around the world to try to get gigs somewhere on the golf circuit. And Tiger Woods also does not want to spend his twilight years as a pariah, where it is raining down from the heavens, pitchforks and all that, theoretically. So by turning down the money, Tiger pulled the deck of playing cards out and immediately pulled the integrity card from the bottom of the deck, that he has moral supremacy over Phil Mickelson and all these other guys, that he's the do-gooder. When in reality, it's really about convenience. It's a hassle to switch things up. And we've all heard the phrase, a tiger cannot change its stripes. Well, can a tiger change its league? I would say for 700, 800 million, you can change your ways. You can learn a new language. You can learn some things here straight off the bat, if you know what I'm saying. Now, secondly, what would happen if Tiger Woods decided to do a 180 here and said, you know, I didn't want to be the first, but I'm not the first. I'd really be the last. A, is the money still there? You would assume it is. And B, would Tiger have a change of heart? So Woods, if he were to leave, his sponsorship deals would completely dry up like a lake in the desert of California. And not that he would need sponsors. If you're getting $800 million, you can change horses mid-race. But Tiger would become a trophy wife of the Saudi government. He would be paraded around as a money spinner, as they stay in Australia there at cocktail parties and whatnot. And the door is closed, but it's not deadbolted. Like there's a little bit of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You can kind of open the door up a little bit, but not much. Now, Tiger has been very rough around the edges when discussing the LIV defectors. It's not like he's given his blessing to this. In fact, he said some things that were very derogatory about those golfers that took the money. We did a monologue about this in a recent episode of the show, pointing out the hypocrisy of Tiger Woods, who was given forever money by Nike before he had ever won a major or any tournament on the PGA Tour. He was given this ridiculous amount of money by Nike to be a pitchman, and he was then being the old guy, get off my lawn about the young golfers who are given all this money, whether they win or not. And so, yeah, he's been that surly guy, and it makes it like running on hot coals to do a 180 and join the evil empire of golf. Is 800 not enough? Does Tiger need $1 billion? Now, $1 billion is like crazy. They have the money. The Saudi government has so much money from you buying gas and me buying gas and everyone else in the world buying gas that they could give Tiger $1 billion and they wouldn't even blink an eye. It's only a couple $100 million more. They've got that. If you could be a housefly on the wall and eavesdrop into the discussion, are people drooling there? Like, wait a minute. Tiger's already said no to it, but if they up the ante, there is a price point where Tiger would follow a higher calling. And he's lagging behind everyone else right now, but he would have a change of heart. Now, regardless, in terms of competition, you'd be better off. If you're Tiger Woods, you're washed up, you're at the end of your career here, you'd rather be on the PGA Tour for competitive reasons if your goal is to actually try to win, because anyone you've ever heard of has left the PGA Tour, and they are all hanging out on those private party planes with the fine folks over at the LIV Golf Tour. Final thought. Let's turn over to Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley did not leave TNT. This happened somewhat recently here. Did not leave TNT to go to the LIV Golf Tour. And why is that? We had heard that the numbers were insane. $150 million was being tossed around for Charles Barkley. So my understanding is that Charles was not offered as much as was rumored, obviously, or else he would have gone. But it was still more money than he makes at Turner, and it was more money than he made from his sponsorship. And so there were qualifications. And this is what I've been hearing through the grapevine here, that in part because there are members of the Saudi regime there that had some concerns. They're not as nuanced when it comes to freedom of speech. Of course, freedom of speech, even in this country, has a sliding scale if you say the wrong thing, but it's a different conversation. But they were a little concerned that Charles Barkley has loose lips, and Charles has free reign on TNT and can say and do whatever he wants. And we know that loose lips sink ships, and if you start stepping on toes, doing jokes that maybe tiptoeing the line, shall we say, it's possible you might get your fingers cut off, with a machete or something like that. So I've heard. I don't know if that's actually true. I've read it online, so maybe it is true. Plus, despite the tough talk, Charles also realized how unpopular he would become. And as much as he tries to downplay it, say he doesn't care about that, when this was floated in the media, which was done intentionally, by the way, on the Dan Patrick Show and with the New York Post, that was an intentional act by Charles Barkley, people around Charles Barkley. We were told, literally and figuratively, every single sponsor said, that's it, game over. That's it. We'll drop you. We're not any of those, the sandwich chain, all the media companies that Charles does commercials for, they would have all dumped it. Nobody would have used the round mound of rebound as a pitchman. And Barkley he's the opposite of me. I'm an introvert. He's an extrovert. He's a social butterfly. He's got that simpatico delivery. He's the life of the party. And he doesn't want to lose that. I don't blame him. But if they had gotten to the numbers that were originally tossed around, I believe he would have done it. If that number had gotten to $150 million, Barkley would have been gung-ho to try life as a recluse. But it didn't get to that price point. Didn't happen.